Can I, can I get another beer?
Sir, we just poured that for you.
Oh.
What? Where did you...
Oh. Hey, I'm Aiden. Today, we're going to be talking about Plato's Symposium. This took place somewhere in this area a long time ago. Something like 2000 BC, way before Jesus. But actually, the start of Plato's Symposium isn't even the start of Plato's Symposium. It starts with these two dudes. They're just chilling. They're just hanging out and they're walking. And one of them's like, bro, you hear about Plato's Symposium? The other dude's like, nah, bro. Wasn't that the thing that happened when we were like 6? And the other guy's like, yeah, it did happen when we were like 6. But it was so legendary. And he's like, yo, you got to tell me all about this shindig. Now this is where the symposium begins. So it's kind of a who's who of people from Greek times. We got Phaedrus, the aristocrat. We got Pausanias, the lawyer. We got Eryximachus, the doctor. We got Aristophanes, the comedic poet. We got Agathon, the tragic poet. We got Socrates, the goat. We got, and then we have some special guests. So they're all chilling, drinking wine. It's a party. You know how it goes. There's no women because they're Greek. And, they're talking up, and then they're like, we're all intellectuals. We got Socrates here. Let's talk about something important, and let's do it in an orderly fashion and take turns and talk one at a time. And they go, what should we talk about? What should we talk about? And they go, we should talk about love. Because that is what matters for real. So Phaedrus starts just the way an aristocrat would, especially back then. And he's like, dude, excuse me. And Phaedrus starts and he's like, dude, I just wish we just didn't need women. And everyone's like, this guy's on to something. And he's like, hear me out. Imagine if the army or society or like cities, he takes some weird jumps, but he's like, imagine if every city was just a bunch of grown men with beards and all their little boys who didn't have beards, because that's what made it chill. And he's like, think about it. We all know Patroclus and Achilles, most famous story, Trojan War. Achilles knew he was going to die, and he went anyway because he loved Patroclus so much, and he wanted to avenge him. And everyone's like, okay. That's pretty, I see what you're saying. And then Pausanias goes next, the lawyer, who is Phaedrus's, guide. They're together. They're at peace. And he goes, you're onto something, but we can be better than that. We don't just need cities and armies of men and no women. He's like, there's 2 types of loves. There's common love and heavenly love. And both, come from Aphrodite. So he's like, you're right about the boy love, though. They're dead on about that. Because, a man needs his little love boy. But there's the basic love you have where you're like, oh, it's a pretty woman. That woman's, pretty. I could like her. I could hang out with her. I could maybe dance with her. I could be with her. It's always coming on. It's like nothing. It's like the wind. It's always coming and going. But heavenly love is like important. It's devoted. It's insightful. That's you and your boy. There's kind of a big theme here with all the Greeks. And then Eryximachus goes next, He's a doctor. He's like, hey, you guys have been talking about love. Like you haven't been talking about what love is. He's like, love is scientific because I'm a doctor. It's like love, it's not only biological, but it's biological in the sense that it's good for your health. Whereas a person with good love, who is, happy and they're loving the right things and doing the right things, they will be in good health. And if you don't have love, you will be sick. Because he was a doctor back then and they didn't know anything about medicine. They were like, they had lead in their water. That's kind of the baseline we're going with this doctor. So, and everyone's like, okay, maybe love is a little scientific. Maybe love kind of decides everything, and you're kind of good or bad if you have love, or if you have bad love or good love. Then Aristophanes comes in. He's the comic. And he says what arguably is the most famous interpretation from this entire meeting about love. And he goes, no, you guys, you know what caused love? There was Well, look. You know what caused love? Everyone. Two people used to be one person, and they were facing backwards, and they had like hands and legs, and they were back to back, and they were one person, and that's just what humans were. And the gods got jealous about them because they were like being humans and like being happy, and the gods were like, this fucking no, sorry. And the gods were like, no way, they can't be like this. So they came down, they got jealous, they cut them in half. So every half was missing their other half. So if you wanted to be, complete yourself, find your love, you had to find not even like literally your other half. And everyone's like, this is great. This is probably like if I was a high schooler or if I was a movie exec, about 2,000 years from now, I would make a movie about that interpretation of love, because that seems like it could sell really well, and that seems like a very good understanding is that I'm missing another half. Very popular. And then Agathon comes in, tragic poet, not funny. And he basically comes in, he just says fucking nothing. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. He is like, he's just like spitting bars, but they go nowhere. He's like, love is like an ocean breeze while you're riding a horse, and and your hair is blowing in the ocean breeze, and it's just so beautiful that I can just keep rhyming and going on forever. And everyone's like, you got me, my tongue is tied after that. The way you described love without really even, that was very abstract. And actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't know if you even said anything. And then Socrates comes in after this, and he's like, then Socrates comes in, and he's like, we can all agree what Agathon said was beautiful, but the chill asked you some questions. And Agathon's like, yeah, you can ask me some questions. So then Socrates starts asking him questions, and he's like, well, if you love something, he's like, is love beautiful? And Agathon's like, yeah, I think love itself is kind of beautiful. And he's like, okay, follow me. Think about this. Everyone listening to this. This is funny. I'm so good. And he goes, so if love is beautiful, why do you want something that's beautiful? That because you want something, like if I want bread, I'm hungry, and everyone's like, yeah, when I want bread, I am hungry. And he's like, okay. So does that mean if I want love, I don't have love? If I want a beautiful boy, that means I don't have a beautiful boy. That means I'm lacking that. And everyone was like, yo. So love is love is when you want something that you don't have and that like it will make you complete. And Socrates is like, yeah, that's what I used to think. And everyone's like gasping. They're like, what? There's no way. There's no way. Socrates just pulled this on us. Oh my God. He's the GOAT. He's so good at philosophy. No way, no way. And he's like, I used to think like that all my life until I met Diotima. And she's the one who put me on game. And they're like, yo, what do you Diotima say? And Diotima was like, she asked me all these questions like, would you want a little boy if you didn't have a little boy? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, that means you're lacking it. So Diotima was like, actually, love is like a ladder. It's about your rings you have to climb. And Diotima knew what she was talking about because she was a priestess. So she was like, step one, you fall in love with the body. You have the physical attraction. That's what gets it's the kindle to the flame. Number two, you start loving the mind. You're like, oh yeah, the way you think is kind of beautiful. And then you start loving like laws. You start getting into more abstract things where it's just like, oh, I kind of like these ideas and these rules that we have. And then you start loving form, the complete abstraction, the perfect idea. You're like, oh, but then you come all the way back around and you love bodies again. But I'll be honest, that was a little confusing to me. You come back around. What was the point of? I guess it's like a ladder because you go to the top and then you walk back down. But anyways, so Socrates like, yeah, that's what she told me. She got me straight. I think she knew everything. And they're all like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, at this point, they're all drinking wine. They're all pretty going. Besides Socrates, he can't get drunk. He is sober as a designated driver because they should always be sober. And then all of a sudden, Alcibiades comes barging in, gaggling beautiful women. He's just an important man with, So he comes in, he's like, Socrates, you're so ugly. You are ugly as shit, bro. You look horrible. Everyone knows you look horrible. You look like it's like if I stare at you, I want to throw up. But dude, you're just so smart. I'm like, bro, like I would be your lover just to learn that knowledge from you. And Alcibiades even goes on further. He's like, dude, Socrates, you know what I hate? I also hate about you, besides the fact that you're ugly but a genius. You can outdrink anyone. Like you just drink this whole thing of wine and you're fine. You are chilling. It's like nothing even happened. You can't get drunk. Like you're a god. You're on par with a god because you, Socrates, can't get drunk. And everyone's like, yeah, what's like, dude, come on. Like, you can't get drunk. Like, dude, it's not fair. So Alcibiades goes on. He's like, dude, I tried so hard to win your affection. Like, I'll pay you all this money. Like, I'll let you live in my house. I'd let you live in my house for a time. Like, just come on, just like date me, bro, so I can just like learn. Socrates and all his infinite wisdom is like, I'm sorry, but just not interested. And that's Plato's Symposium. so horrible for.